for those introductory remarks. So I'm going to toss out the first question now, and if I can ask you to please limit your answers to 3 minutes as well, just so that we can keep things rolling along and make sure we have plenty of time for Q&A at the end. So my first question to you, all three of you, is what are your top priorities for this legislative session? Senator Wiener, let's start with you.
Sure. Excuse me. For me, the top...
So you have a choice. Please sit down. Please sit down or we will end this. So you have two choices. Please be respectful or we end this. Thank you. Senator Wiener?
Thank you, Thuy. So for me, the top priorities this legislative session are housing, homelessness, and criminal justice reform. There you go. And we have, as I think, whatever people's differing perspectives, we have a terrible housing crisis, not just in San Francisco, but throughout the state, and it's really damaging the fabric of our community. And so we are working hard, actually all three of us, on trying to move the dial in housing. And there's a lot of energy this year, particularly with Governor Newsom prioritizing housing to move an aggressive agenda on housing. I grew up a Queen fan, so thank you for that rendition. And so I think we're going to see a lot of work this year to try to increase investment in affordable housing, and we're already seeing that in the proposed budget, to try to expand tenant protections to make sure that we are having enough housing and creating the ability to create enough housing in the state of California, because we have a 3.5 million home deficit. I'm authoring a bill, Senate Bill 50, and for once, and there we go. So that we can finally break exclusionary segregation, so that we can finally break exclusionary segregation zoning in the state of California that has pushed us off the housing cliff. We are also working on Senate Bill 48, which will streamline navigation centers and homeless shelters to make sure that every homeless person in California on their way to housing can have a place to actually sleep. There are big swaths of California with 0 shelter beds, or shelter beds that are only open in the winter, or almost nothing. And we have half of the unhoused or the unsheltered homeless people in the U.S. are in California. It's unacceptable, and we have to make sure that every community actually provides navigation center or shelter access to homeless people, including in San Francisco. We're also working this year on continuing our progress on criminal justice reform. I'm authoring a bill, sb136, to eliminate one of the most common sentencing enhancements that significantly increases our prison population, and just getting rid of that sentencing enhancement entirely. We are reforming the sex offender registry to stop discriminating against LGBT people, and we have a bill to ensure that transgender incarcerated people are able to be housed according to their gender identity, as opposed to what they were, the gender that was assigned to them at birth, because we know that trans women in particular who are classified and housed in prison as men are then horribly victimized. And so we need to make sure that we're respecting all prisoners, including our transgender prisoners. We also this year have a very aggressive clean energy bill, SB288, to try to make it easier for people to have solar energy or other forms of clean energy without our utilities like PG&E stopping people from actually generating that clean energy. So we have a lot of work we're doing this year, and I think we're going to have a good one.